You're listening to Create Wealth Through Franchising, and I'm your host, Kim Daly. In my 20 years as a franchise consultant, I've helped hundreds of people achieve their dreams of building and scaling franchise businesses to create wealth. The interview you're about to hear can also be found on my YouTube channel, where I post new franchising content multiple times per week. Please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and to my YouTube channel at kimdaly.tv. Now, enjoy the show. Welcome back to Kim Daly TV, our special guest for you today. His name is Chris Doran. He is a franchisee of DonutNV in Advance, North Carolina. Chris, welcome to the studio of Kim Daly TV.
Thanks, Kim, for having me. I really appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate your time, sir. So we want to pick your brain a little bit about DonutNV. So we had, as you know, I had a great conversation with the founder and CEO, Alex, not too long ago. And he shared with us how this whole concept got started and kind of the premise of how DonutNV operates. But it's very, very interesting and intriguing to my followers to not just hear from founders, right? Not that they don't believe founders, but they really believe you. They want to hear your story. So they want to make the connection between their life and your life. So tell the followers of Kim Daly TV a little bit about your background and how why you decided to look for a franchise and why you ultimately chose DonutNV.
Sure. So it's actually a story like everything else in life. I was a cop back in the day, and then I retired, and then I worked in the transportation industry for 20 plus years. I was working at Ashley Furniture in a management role, and I also have been doing a fireworks stand, a TNT fireworks stand, for about 10 or 11 years. So I've always had a little bit of entrepreneur in me. I just never found the right opportunity, or you see stuff and you're like, oh, that can't be real, or that looks too good to be true. So make a long story short, I was just on Facebook one day at lunch at work, and DonutNV's video came across, and I was like, that sounds cool. I was like, let's make some donuts. Yeah, who's like donuts? I mean, that's the coolest thing ever. Never thought about a food truck. Never thought about a restaurant industry. Never thought about, a year and a half ago, if you said, let's go do donuts, I'd be like, I'll go have donuts. I don't know about make them, So I watched that video. I filled out the form just like everybody else, more info, please. And within a couple of hours, I had a phone call from Alex, and we spoke for an hour and a half, and the rest is history.
That's amazing. So back in the day when Alex was brand new at franchising, I'm guessing if you were about a year and a half ago, he was personally taking those organic leads and answering the call. Well, you got straight to the guy.
When I tell you that me and Alex spoke via text or phone during we'll call it the courting period of me doing my research, my market research, and figuring out what I want to do. I couldn't even tell you the hours, honestly. So to your point, he was very, very, very involved personally. I mean, we would text all day long just because of all the questions, and especially not having any experience or anything. I was brand new to everything. So I had no idea what to expect or anything like that. And he by far is why I'm where I am now.
It's amazing. It's one of the biggest advantages to investing in an emerging brand. The founders of the emerging brand need those first few franchisees to be more successful than anybody else, because without them being successful, there's not going to be anybody else. So there is there's more risk, but there's also more hand-holding and more one-on-one direct from the founders. So it can be an advantage. So now let's just kind of back up. So you had this entrepreneur in you, but why did you like the idea of the franchise business as you started to learn about the benefits of being invested in a franchise?
So when I first heard about it, and the first thing that most people do is they look at the cost. If this is $6 million, I'm probably not going to be able to afford it, but at the time, the entry to get in was very reasonable. I could do it. It wasn't, it was a risk, obviously, but it wasn't my life would be over if it didn't work.
Yeah, I like to say you
Obviously,
weren't betting the farm.
right. I wasn't betting the farm. I didn't put $1 million on the Astros to win the World Series like Mattress Mac, uh, but yeah. So I took the chance, and it made sense financially. And as I went through the process of market and research and development, uh, getting that relationship with Alex really catapulted everything. And then when it was time to go down and actually taste the donuts, I drove down to Orlando to taste the donuts. I was like, all right, I've done all this research. I know where I want to go. I got all the numbers. I got all the events. I got all the contact. I haven't tasted the donuts yet. I need to go taste the donuts, because how can you be behind a product that you don't love? It's really hard. So I went down to Orlando and did I don't remember what it was called back then. I think it was Discovery Day. But anyway, spent the day with Alex and Amanda, tried the donuts and everything, and drove back home the next day, and was pretty much like, yeah, I think we're going to do this.
Yeah, I'm going to go make the donuts.
We'll make the donuts.
I
Yep.
love it. Okay, so that was about a year and a half ago that you said yes. So do you have more than one?
No, it was October of last year, and then we got the truck first week of February.
Okay, so this has been your first year. We're at the end of 2022 at the time of this interview. So you have got about 1 year, or let's say 11 months under your belt at this point. So do you have just the one truck on the road right now? Yeah.
I just have the one truck. So a little backstory on that. The reason why I don't have more trucks is because, like I said, I was working at Ashley Furniture, so I had a full-time job. My wife is my partner in this. I should have mentioned that earlier. And when she sees this, I'll probably get yelled at. So she's my partner. So she and I have a full-time employee who's my daughter. So it's a family business. And then I have a couple of part-time people that worked for me at Ashley that are now work part-time on the donut truck. So everybody on the donut truck I've known for years. I trust, obviously I have a relationship with, so it makes life a lot easier, makes the working environment much better. I don't have to worry about people calling out on me. It's not like that at all. So with all that going on with the full-time job and everything, I wasn't ready yet to get truck number 2. Not that I couldn't fill it, because I have events that I say no to every day. I'm just trying to sort everything out with work and everything like that.
Hey, Daly Coach fans, if this franchise sounds like a fit for you, I would love to be your Daly Coach. Email me right now for a totally free consultation at inquire@kimdaly.tv. So first of all, when you went to Orlando to taste the donuts, did you invite your wife?
My wife, well, here's the other part of the logistics too, which makes truck number 2 a little bit of a challenge, is we have a 2-year-old. So that in and of itself, to run 2 trucks full time is, we're not there yet, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we've been so successful with our first truck,
right,
that, like my dad says, and I'll just quote him: "Why are you going to be greedy when you're doing so well with the first truck? If it's not broke, don't fix it."
Yeah, that's good.
So
that's good.
in due time, we will grow and get more units. But as of now, for the first 10 months, we've been doing so well with the one truck, and I wanted to get it down, understand the events, understand the business, because I'm still brand new. Even though I'm one of the older DonutNV franchise now, which is funny to say, because a year ago I was, just looking around going, I can't believe I'm going to do this. I signed the paperwork. Oh my God.
You're so fun. That's so good. So now that you're in for 10 months, juggling your full-time job and a business, do you see a path to be able to leave your job? Are you tethered to your job for like insurance benefit, or is it more just the comfort of that steady income while you're still growing in the role as business owner?
So it's funny you asked that question. So there's an answer to that question. The question was, am I going to stay at my full-time job and do donuts? The answer to that question is no. And it's actually already happened. I don't work for Ashley anymore.
Oh, congratulations. That's a big day, Chris.
Well, again, it just happened. Their business, Ashley Furniture business, again, I don't want to talk about Ashley, but their business, went down because of COVID. Sales went down, and they laid off a bunch of people across the company. I was one of those people. So my exit came sooner than anticipated, sometimes not by choice, just timing is everything.
Right.
And here we are. And it's, if I didn't have the donut truck and that would have happened, my life would be completely different because I'd have to go find another job right away, hope it's good, hope it pays well. Whereas, with the donut truck, I was making more money than I was making at Ashley anyway. So it's really hasn't been that big of a hiccup at all. To get called in the office and be like, hey, we're going to have to let you go after 5 years, blah, blah, blah. And then walking out and just being like, okay, hey, I got an event to go to in an hour. Okay, see you later. Thanks for the half day today. And that's really what it was. I literally left work and went to an event that night. I'm driving home, and I'm like, I don't even make that in a week. I just made that in 3 hours.
Good for you, Chris. It's like a guardian angel got you to where you needed to be before you needed to be there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I love that for you, Chris. Good for you.
Everything happens for a reason, and I talked to Alex yesterday, and I was like, it's amazing. We had a conversation in the back of the parking lot of DonutNV in Claremont during my training week, and my training is a lot different than the training that they do now. We were there, I think it was like 9:30 at night, sitting in the parking lot, in the dark parking lot behind the Claremont DonutNV, talking about growth and explosion and where we're going to go, because I was number 7. So this is back in the day when Alex and Amanda were virtually training. Amanda actually did my dishes for us one night. I mean, this is how far back. We laugh at this
Every
stuff now.
franchise starts as an entrepreneurial venture. I mean, that's what we're talking about here, people.
Yeah. So we had that conversation. He brought that conversation up last night, because we're up to 35 franchises now and 70 territories. And I was number 7 and number 10 territory or 11 territory. So that was in February when we had that conversation. It's only December, and the growth has just been amazing. I mean,
it has been explosive growth this year. I will testify to that because I've been a part of that here in 2022.
Yeah. It's been life changing. DonutNV really has changed my life, and I don't say that as a commercial or anything. It really has.
So I know that a lot of people listening to this will resonate because, a lot of people in the middle of looking for a franchise lose their job. I mean, I'll say a lot of people, even the reason they're looking at franchising is because they've lost their job through no fault of their own. And especially if it's happened more than once, there's this thing inside like, am I really going to put myself back into that frying pan? Like, am I really going to go do it again and then only to be laid off again? And each time I'm a little bit older and I feel a little bit more defeated. Share with the viewers a little bit just about the empowerment that you feel like when the layoff came. I'm sure it still stinks, but like how like, not that you're gloating inside, but like, you're like, oh man, like, so were you so relieved that you dared to put yourself in this place?
Mm-hmm. I'm lucky because I had the business already set up.
Yep.
And again, when I got into DonutNV, my long-term plan was to get out of Ashley, be my own boss, not have to answer to anybody ever again. Like I said, it came a little sooner than later. I'm glad it happened the way it did. No, it doesn't sting anymore. It stung for a minute, but now I talk to my ex-coworkers and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, well, today, I'm doing a podcast interview. They're like, oh, we have to work 12 hours today because the bosses are coming in from, Wisconsin. I was like, yeah, I don't do that. And then what you said, empowerment, we here's a quick story of an event we went to. It was a haunted attraction. And I did my research. I spoke to the people. I went out there in my own car before the event, spoke to them, looked at the spot, because a lot of what we do is parking where we're going to park. It's got to be safe. It's got to be level. Anyway, so I went out there, did my due diligence. Make a long story short, the event was there. We had already done 12 hours or 10 hours at another event. Then we went to that one for night. And he deviated from where he wanted me to park. And he ended up wanting to put me by porta potties in a corner out of the way where nobody could see me. And, after, and I was patient and I waited there an hour to figure this out. I moved the truck a couple times for him. And to make a long story short, I said, you know what? It's already 7:30. I said, we're just gonna call tonight. No hard feelings. I'm not mad. You don't owe me any money. And drove home. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I just did that. And I'm not gonna get in trouble because I'm the boss. So that resonated exactly what you said. I'm the boss. I don't have to answer to anybody. And you don't realize that until you have it.
Yes.
And I was never one of those people. And I was always too scared. I like the stability of a job. I like the steady income. I like to know that every other Friday I'm getting X amount of dollars, no matter what happens. But the empowerment of being your own boss, and you make a decision, you stick with it, obviously as long as it's ethical and makes business sense too. But it was a great feeling. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
You know,
freedom. It's
it
freedom.
is.
It's
It,
awesome. Congratulations to you. I love that story. I also love that you're able to bring your child into this business and keep this as a family business. Now as you grow, you won't be able to do that, but a lot of times a lot of people are turning to franchising not just cuz they're in career transition or worry about it. They're looking to build something as a legacy for their kids. So was that part of your decision-making process as well?
yes. So when we first started, I was like, this is this would be a great thing to build over time, and then turn it over to one of our kids. If they wanted to go that direction, they might not want to, but when I first got into it, I looked at it as a long-term play, not a quick get rich pyramid scheme or anything like that. And it honestly, it's like I told you, it's been a whirlwind. It really has. It's life changing. I can't put it any better way than life changing.
The events that you're able to book, are you looking at revenue per event? Is that how you build your pro forma with this business?
Okay, so there's three types of events, and again, I don't want to get too deep into this, but there's a public vending event, which would mean we'd go up to our local, I don't know what food stores you have, but Food Lion, Harris Teeter, ShopRite, whatever the food stores, you would just go and you'd say, hey, we're going to vend from 10 to 1. Okay, and they let you, and you go. There's no fee to them. You gamble and you make what you make. You don't know what you're going to make at a Food Lion or a Walmart or whatever because you don't know the foot traffic. Second is a guaranteed minimum. So we'll do like Walmart will call us and be like, hey, bad example. A farm will call us, be like, hey, we're doing a pumpkin patch today. Can you come out from 10 to 4? Sure. My guaranteed sales minimum is $750. We would love to come out. So we come out, we only sell $500. The pumpkin patch owes us the other $250. We still make our $750 and off we go. Third one is prepaid. That's, hey, you're doing 100, you have 100 employees, so you want to do donuts and a drink or whatever the package is. So they would pay up front. We'll just call it for this sake $10 a head, 100 people. So they would pay $1,000 up front, and then we would go and serve 100 people. So those are the three types of vending events. So with the public vending, it's a gamble because you just don't know. You need foot traffic.
Yeah, but you can just fill in on a day when you don't have an event scheduled. I mean, you can just go and try to make a few extra bucks and fill it in with that.
You could, but there's a difference between being busy and being profitable.
Oh, that's very true, Chris.
Yeah, very, very true. So we can and again, I was looking at some of the numbers before the call, and like just for instance, in February we did 15 events. In March we did 28 events, and this is when we first started. April we did 23. May we did 27. So you see the theme. We're in the mid to upper 20s. September, October, November, we did 19 events, 17 events, and 12 events, and doubled the money that we were making when we started. It's one of the months we actually tripled. So we're doing less events and making way more money. So we're working smarter, not harder. Where at the beginning, and just like everything, you got to build your business name. So we went out, we take grinded.
Everything. Yes.
We took everything within reason.
Right.
We still ask our questions, and for the most part, it's a learning experience, just like with anything else.
Hey, Daly Coach fans, if you're inspired by this conversation, I invite you to email me right now to explore this franchise opportunity. My email is inquire@kimdaly.tv. Well, the Daly Coach loves to say that, the first year you graduate from training, when you say yes to the dream to own a business, it's like drinking from a fire hose for an entire year. You're just learning because you're learning a new business and you're learning how to be a business owner all at the same time. So you just say yes, like Chris said, within reason, but you just say yes for the experience. But then after that first year, if you're smart, you're going to mine your data. You're going to look at what you created, and now you're going to start to work smarter rather than harder, right? So you can look at, when we did these type of events, how did we get paid? And you can start, like he said, I don't really necessarily even want to go set up at well, he didn't say that. I was thinking you were saying that. Going to the grocery store and setting up for 3 hours, because maybe that's not the most efficient use of time. Maybe it's better to just enjoy the day off, right? And be out there.
not enjoy the day off, but what the way we looked at it was when we were doing all those events and we were super busy. We didn't have time to really focus on the marketing. Because don't forget, I was working full time doing all those events too, along with my wife. So, and she was working full time when we started DonutNV. She was at Ashley too, but she left 2 weeks after we got the truck because we already realized there's no way we were going to be able to do it with both of us working full time.
Would you say that this one decision to say yes to your dream to own a business has changed your life more than any other decision, other than getting married, maybe, and having children?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It really has been. I didn't realize it at the time. And when you're going through the processes and you're looking, and I wasn't looking for a franchise per se. Right. I wasn't out there searching for franchises. It just kind of happened. It just kind of came across and it happened and it piqued my interest. And, now I talk donuts 24/7 and, my whole house is DonutNV and everything's DonutNV and I wouldn't change it. So it's definitely been life-changing. And the timing, like I said, it's just amazing because who would have thought? I would have never thought that Ashley would do layoffs. They're a $7 billion company, but luckily we had the business going and we never skipped a beat. We never skipped a bill, never missed a bill, never didn't have food on the table. And honestly, it's because of DonutNV.
That's amazing. Really, I love to conclude every interview I do with a franchisee by asking kind of the same question. So I'm going to ask you the question, Chris. My listeners can shout it out if you know it. The question is, so has this decision to become a DonutNV franchisee, we've already said it's changed your life, but has this decision made you unemployable?
So yeah. Yep.
I totally put him on the spot and I love it. Yep. He wants to say yes, but I feel that risk averseness in you, Chris. I feel
it. Well, so the answer to that is yes. I will put it out there. I don't think I'll ever go back to corporate America again, knowing what I know now. And I've only been out of work 6 weeks, so I still don't even know anything yet. But I know I don't want to go back. That I can tell you. But the only corporate America place that I would go would, in theory, be DonutNV.
Oh, that's amazing. Grow, yes.
As they grow, I would consider that down the road. But other than that, no, I'm not employable.
That's amazing. It's amazing because once you get that sweet taste of empowerment
that little
and
taste,
freedom, there's nothing like it. That's why I love to ask the question.
Yeah, I make my own schedule. I figure out what I'm going to, obviously based around events and stuff like that. So again, I make 3-4 times the amount of salary I made. I work half the time in theory because I don't have to commute or anything like that. And it's like I said, it's just been unbelievable. And once we get the investment paid off, next year it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, it's going to be it's all gravy.
And then don't forget, your family's involved. You're working with people you love, not just like. Hopefully, you love them, right? And so you have that legacy piece, this life-changing legacy piece when we involve our children in our businesses, right? Mm-hmm. Because those of us who are parents know that our kids don't really do what we say. They do what we do. And so when we involve them in a business and they get to see what we do, there's a very high likelihood that they're going to go on and do it too. And that is a legacy that every parent, I think, would wish upon their children, to not have to ever be employable, even from their very, very young age out of college.
And the great thing about donuts is it's not going anywhere. Donuts have been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So, and our donuts are better than anybody's donuts. So I know our donuts aren't going anywhere.
If you are ready to make the donuts, I'm just kidding. If you are inspired by this conversation and you'd like to learn more about the DonutNV franchise opportunity, please follow the email on the screen right now or email me directly at inquire@kimdaly.tv. That's inquire@kimdaly.tv. Chris, thank you so much for sharing your time and your experiences with the followers of Kim Daly.
Thank you, and have a sweet day.
My name is Kim Daly, and I want to be your Daly Coach. If you found this inspiring, please contact me at inquire@kimdaly.tv. My consulting services are totally free to you. Again, that email is inquire@kimdaly.tv. I can't wait to hear from you.